Good morning children, welcome back. Today we are going to continue with chapter number 4, that is features in Microsoft Word 2013. Setting page properties. So we create document to actually set the document and print it in a page. So how we can change or set a page according to our wish, according to the size of the document, we can set the page. The pages in a document can be formatted by setting page properties, such as page margin is one property, page orientation and page size. First, page margin. The page margin is a space between the edge of the page and the document text on all the four sides. So from edge of the page and the document of the text on all the four sides. Here you can see from the top edge, the first line, this is your top margin. From the left edge, the first character is the left margin. From the right edge to the last letter is your right margin. Similarly, after the last line to the edge of the page. So these four margins are there: top, bottom, left and right. Next property is page orientation. The page orientation is a property that determines the printing direction of the text. How the text will be printed, lengthwise or widthwise. Page orientation can be of two types. First one is portrait. The portrait orientation is the default orientation. In this orientation, the document is printed lengthwise, like this. Okay. Landscape. So next orientation is landscape. In this orientation, the document is printed widthwise. So width becomes length and length becomes width. Let's see, this is your portrait orientation. See, lengthwise. Here the length is greater than the width of the page. And here is the landscape orientation, just reverse. Here the width is greater than the length. So if you want to print tables or anything which is requiring a little bit of width or wider in size, that you can do it in this landscape type of orientation. So these are the two types of orientations we have. Let us now see practically what we have learned today. Page setting properties. So whenever we create a document, we create it for setting the page so that we can print it nicely, you can print it properly. That's why we create a document. So how to set the page properties? For page properties, there are different options. Page properties options are, first is page layout. So in the page layout, page setup dialog box, you will get all the properties. Do from here. So first property is margin. Next property is a paper size. And then the layout, how we can give margins, etc. Header, footer, all these things that we are going to learn in our next class in details. So page properties actually contains the page margins, then the orientation. Orientation means in which way the page will be displayed. Okay, the page has different margins. You can see that. See, top margin from the top to the first line, left margin from left to the first character of the line, right margin from the last character to the right edge, and the bottom margins. Here the text is less, that's why the bottom margin we can't define it. As the text will be finished out here, you can see one gap. So that is called the bottom margin. All these things we can set. And also other than this, we have orientation. Orientation means the format by which the text is printed. As we can see, the text is printed lengthwise. If you do landscape, it will be widthwise. See, you can change it to widthwise. Okay, again the orientation is here. So portrait is a default orientation. And next is the page size. So it depends on the paper on which you will be printed. So this document is actually set up in A4 size paper. If you wish, you can set up in other sizes of papers also, depending on the paper which you want to print. So you have to first measure the paper, put it in the printer, and then set up the document according to the paper size. So students, that's all for today. Hope you have understood. Practice in your computer or device. Until the next class, until the next video, it's goodbye and happy learning.